Hey everybody, welcome to the weekly news update for October 15th, 2017 on the Man of Leek. I'm John as always, and we've got a bunch of news stories this week and a heck of a long story time at the end. Up first, Worlds was this weekend. World Championships of Magic happened, with the 24 best Magic players in the world this year competing for the World Championship, and it was won by William Huey Jensen, a fantastic player, a fantastic guy all around. There were some great matches, so definitely go check out those VODs on Twitch. I believe they're up on YouTube as well, or at least they should be in a while. But congratulations to William Huey Jensen on a very well-deserved World Championship win. Up next, the MTGO Commander 1v1 banned list was updated, with Baral, Chief of Compliance, Demonic Tutor, Emrakul the Aeon's Torn, Enlightened Tutor, Imperial Seal, Mystical Tutor, and Vampiric Tutor being added to the banned list. Baral was a big problem as far as I understand. You really kind of needed to play a Baral deck if you wanted to win a lot of your matches. And of course, the Tutors were a little bit problematic in 1v1. Being able to spend a tiny amount of mana to go and get any card from your deck is not something that's great in a 1v1 format. In multiplayer Commander, of course, you're now a target, because who knows what you just went and got. But in 1v1, you can't be stopped. Now, in addition to that, two cards were taken off the banned list: Arkham Dagson and Yisan the Wanderer Bard. Now, unfortunately, I haven't really played 1v1 Commander on MTGO. I really want to, but the decks are pricey to get into that format. It's something I would definitely like to do, and if I can find a budget deck, I will definitely try to get into it and play a little bit. But yeah, if you are in 1v1 Commander, let me know what you think of these changes. Are they good? Are they bad? Are you angry? Are you happy? Let me know in the comments down below. During the World Championship stream, the playmat for the Store Championships was revealed. The Store Championships are what we previously knew as Game Day. While Game Day normally would have been happening, I believe, next weekend, I want to say, the Store Championships instead are now at the end of the season of the set. So they'll actually be taking place New Year's Eve weekend. I assume most stores will do their tournament on New Year's Eve, December 30th, as opposed to being on December 31st. But check your local store to find out when they're actually going to be doing it. But the playmat looks amazing. Unlike most other playmats, it's not just some card art blown up with a whole bunch of text all over it. It's actually the full map of the continent of Ixalan, and it looks really cool. I would actually frame this playmat, I think. It's just a gorgeous map showing the continent of Ixalan, and boy, it's making me kind of think I might want to put together a standard deck to go and try to win this tournament. More reveals happened this week. We got our first look at Explorers of Ixalan, which is the next in the E series of products, E01 being the arch enemy release from earlier this year. E02 is Explorers of Ixalan. It comes with 4 pre-constructed 60-card decks and a hex grid of hexes. Each hex has a mana cost on it, 1, 2, or 3 generic mana. You can pay that mana to flip the token, to flip the tile, and you'll get some sort of static ability or something will happen. Obviously, to be randomized, since you're not going to know what's on the bottom of that tile necessarily. I assume the 3 mana ones will generally be better than the 1 mana ones. But yeah, it's basically a game of Magic for 2 to 4 players. You play normally, except there's this one extra thing added onto it. Seems very much like Plane Chase to me. I really want to try this out. I'm not sure if I'll pick it up. It's a little bit pricey at $65 MSRP, but it does look super fun. But we got to see some cards in those 60 card decks as well. There's some very interesting reprints in here, including Time Warp, which I believe had a little bit of value attached to it at the moment. Adaptive Automaton, Blatant Thievering, Commander All-Stars there, Threads of Disloyalty, lots of cool cards already revealed. I'm excited to see what else are in these decks, and as I said, I want to give this game a try. I just don't know if I can pull the trigger on the MSRP based on how often this would actually hit the table. Let me know what you think about this, or if you're excited about it in the comments below, because I love that Wizards are doing cool things with Magic, not just being super serious all the time. And of course, if you're not interested in the project, just know that you don't have to buy it. Of course, I've seen people get angry that how dare Wizards spend resources on producing this when I don't personally want it. Doesn't matter. Other people do want it, so relax, you don't have to buy everything. Finally this week, actually an hour or so after I put up last week's weekly news update, they revealed something somewhat big, but not really, in that they're going to change the logo of Magic the Gathering. Now, the Magic the Gathering logo has changed a couple of times already, and in fact, relatively recently. Now, the first two changes were simply changing the logo from blue to yellow, and then changing it from yellow to the mythic rarity color, whatever you want to call that, be it bronze or orange or whatever. This change, however, is a much, much, much bigger one. The text is changing the font. It's no longer that sort of broken M kind of script-looking Magic. It's a much more clean and sharp Magic the Gathering logo, plus the Planeswalker logo is now a part of the overall logo. You probably will not see the Magic the Gathering logo without the Planeswalker symbol going forward. Now, the card backs are not changing, just like they didn't change the last two times. The card backs can never change. Deckmaster is a thing that doesn't exist anymore and hasn't existed for well over a decade or two, but it cannot leave the back of the cards because every card must be the same. So don't worry, your cards are not changing. This logo will simply be appearing on the front of booster packs and on supplemental products and on Wizards' header, and the logo on their website will look this. So don't worry, this isn't changing the back of your cards. I like the new logo. It looks very clean. It looks very modern. Yes, it doesn't look like it's a spell book, but that does not matter to me and shouldn't matter. It doesn't change anything. The game is not changing because the logo is changing. But of course, many people have cited that Magic is going to die because the logo is changing. Which is stupid, but gives me fodder for my next Top 10 Times Magic Totally, Utterly Was Going to Obviously Die video. So thanks, people, for overreacting to things. It gives me great resources to use. But yeah, as I said, I like this logo. I think it looks really nice and clean and modern. Yes, it's a change, but change doesn't have to be scary and frightening, so relax. And with the news out of the way, it's time, of course, for story time. Now, story time this week was huge. Last week was very much a whole lot of Jason Vraska talking, and it was incredibly good, but there wasn't much action there. This week, we get action. And we get action from several different viewpoints. Up first, we start in Adanto on the other continent that we know of in the plane of Ixalan, the continent of Torozon. And a vampire Hierophant approaches Fort Adanto, ranting and raving from a bloodfast that he's on, and it turns out to be Mavrin Fane. Mavrin is put into a cell beside a criminal who will break his bloodfast, returning his sanity. He's currently very, very crazy. Mavrin tells the criminal about the immortal sun, its theft by a winged beast from the sky, and Saint Alanda following it, using dark magic to become the first vampire, something that she returned to Torozon and passed on to the nobility to use to continue their search for the immortal sun before she sailed once again west. After the story, Mavrin kills him, breaking his bloodfast. Switching to Vona, Butcher of Magan, we learn that Vona is a dedicated war hero who, after conquering the continent of Torozon, became bored with being a noble and owning land, and 1 week hunted every single human serf living on her land to break her boredom, her ennui. Upon hearing that a voyage was being assembled to find Saint Alanda, she joined immediately. Her ship is currently approaching a ship of the Brazen Coalition, the Belligerent. As her ship approaches, though, a storm appears, summoned by the River Heralds, the same storm that we've seen the last two stories end with. Much like the Belligerent, Vona's ship smashes into the rocks as well, and she's thrown overboard. Vona and a few of her crew members stumble onto the beach, with Vona knowing that, if the rumors are true, the captain of the smashed pirate ship has a very important compass. She murders a pirate, drinks his blood, as we switch to Jace. We find Jace has jumped overboard alongside Vraska in the storm. Vraska tells Jace to head for a dinghy that they've spotted that they can take upriver while she goes to get her crew. A vampire rushes at Jace, but Jace's instincts kicks in and he uses a spell to put the vampire to sleep. Immediately after, he hears Vraska running at him, yelling mentally to close his eyes as she petrifies another vampire that was running for him. The crew of the belligerent assembles, and Breeches the Goblin tells Vraska, "We fight, you go." The crew will stay to fight the vampires while Jace and Vraska continue their mission to find the immortal sun. Jace and Vraska rush to the small boat in the river and begin sailing upriver. As the sailing continues through the jungle, Vraska reveals to Jace that Ravnica is not on this plane, and reveals that she can do the same body disappearing thing as Jace. She explains they're planeswalkers and they can travel to different worlds, but explains that something here is stopping them from planeswalking and they are stuck. She believes that Vraska has not only the immortal sun, but also an enchantment that is blocking their planeswalking. Jace explains that the compass seems to point to large amounts of magical energy, which is why it pointed to his planeswalking attempt, why it points to Vraska, and why it is currently pointing to her display of planeswalking that she did just now. Vraska is happy to hear Jace figured out the compass, as she feels that they can finally find the immortal sun and have the dragon help them get home. Vraska softens and thanks Jace for listening to her story the other night. They're interrupted, however, as Jace senses some minds and tells Vraska that nearby there's a human, a vampire, a merfolk, and a minotaur. Switching to Huatli now, she's traveling through the jungle searching out the Golden City. As she nears a beach, she sees 2 broken ships and sees Vraska, someone she identifies as being human-ish, but clearly not a human. Ignoring her warrior instinct to fight off the invaders, she tells one of her companions to return to the city and tell a force to come and fight off the survivors of the shipwrecks while they continue into the jungle. As they reach a rock outcropping, they stumble upon the unconscious body of Tishana. Tishana rouses, and Huatli attempts to talk with her despite the 2 tribes being enemies forever. Tishana tells Huatli that Ixalan is in peril as another river herald has betrayed their cause and is traveling to the Golden City. Huatli reveals her vision of the Golden City and asks for help in getting there. Tishana is relieved or confused to hear that Huatli wants to go there. Not possess it, not claim it for the Empire, but simply to go there. Huatli explains that she is certain that her mission is for the survival of both of their tribes, and that they are not each other's enemy. Tishana reveals that she sensed Huatli when she felt the energy like a dolphin trying to break the surface. She doesn't know what that energy was, only that the surface of their world is impassable from below. Some can fall in, but none can leap out. Tishana agrees to help Huatli only in order to stop Kumena. If Huatli attempts to claim the city, Tishana will stop her. The pair spot Vraska and Jace sailing from the wreckage, and Tishana tells Huatli of the rumors of the compass that shows the way to Vraska, revealing that even the merfolk don't know where Vraska is, only its general location. Clearly, this human and merfolk are going to need that compass, just like the vampire, the minotaur, and the human and Gorgon who currently have it. So that's going to wrap it up for story time for the weekly news update. It was a great story. It was called The Race Part 1. The race is on. They are all going to try to get to Vraska. Who's going to get there first? What kind of fight is going to happen? We'll probably find out in the next week or 2 would be my guess. But as always, let me know what you think of the story. Let me know what you think of that logo change and Explorers of Ixalan, which I think looks really fun. Let me know anything in the comments down below. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can find me on Twitter at @TheManaLeek. That's L-E-E-K like the vegetable, not the card. You can also find me at Facebook.com/TheManaLeek, Twitch.tv/TheManaLeek, where I will be doing a 24-hour stream on the 28th to raise money for my local Children's Miracle Network Hospital. There will be all kinds of MTGO bot giveaways, bot credit giveaways, video game giveaways. I've got a ton of Humble Bundle keys to give out. Lots of stuff is going to happen there, so come check it out. Come donate. It will be great. And of course, you can also find me at patreon.com/TheManaLeek if you want to support me directly there. As always, if you like the content, click that thumbs up button. Click subscribe if you haven't already and you want to see more. And if you do have any questions, comments, or suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, see y'all next time.